guys, I'm Chatsidy Walker of Culture Cocktails, and welcome to Crime Tales. If you're new here, I bring you guys true crime content while I'm making craft cocktails. And so if that's the type of content that you guys like, please like and subscribe today. It'll help more than you know, guys. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, y'all, this is a well-anticipated case. I mentioned to a few people that I will be covering this case, and it took off. Everyone wants to know about this case, and the case I'm referring to is of Larry M Stanley of Anderson, South Carolina. Larry was the former owner of Uptown Lounge. Uptown Lounge is the oldest bar in South Carolina, in Anderson, South Carolina, and it is still running to this day. So let's get into the story. So let's talk about Larry. Larry, and what made me so interested in this case, guys, is that I used to work at Uptown Lounge. Uptown Lounge is a major part of my mixologist career today. So, you know, when I first heard of the case, when I was working there, it immediately piqued interest. Immediately piqued interest on finding out what happened. If you would ask anyone in the restaurant, they would tell you he was murdered by an disgruntled ex-employee. That's the story. But no one knows what happened, and I haven't found the details for you guys. My sources, I used the Anderson County Library and the courthouse, and I also spoke with a witness that was investigated and interviewed at the time of the murder. So I'm using all of this as my facts. So let's get started. So Larry M Stanley was 73 years old. He was from Marion, South Carolina. He went to Clemson College in the 40s. And while he was a student vacationing in Myrtle Beach, he met his wife. She was from Pendleton, South Carolina, and they hit it off, got married. They opened up a little diner here in Anderson, South Carolina, and that in 1952. They also had 2 kids, a son and a daughter, but the marriage did not last. His wife said that Larry and her and Larry, they loved each other a lot, but she could not live with them. She said that Larry had a very short temper, and that while you or I may sulk on something for 1 or 2 days, Larry said it and got it over with. He meant what he said. He had a way of saying things and going about his business, and that was old Larry. But they still spent holidays together with the kids, and you know, got along in that sense. After the separation, he moved to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Larry moved to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where he opened up a business there that he ran for a little bit before moving back to Anderson, South Carolina. And in the 70s, that's when he opened up good old Uptown Lounge. And honestly, I don't know where I would be today if Larry hadn't opened up Uptown Lounge. It is such a big inspiration in a lot of people's life. Like, it is one of those restaurants. It's a hometown meat bar. It's where you go and everyone knows your name. It's just like the Cheers bar. And that's what Larry wanted. He wanted a bar like that people would talk about for years to come, and they still do. And it's still open and still one of those bars. Larry was, like I said, a pillar in the community. Everyone knew him. Everyone loved him. He was known to celebrity entertainers, sports entertainers. He had a lot of the higher up people in Anderson, South Carolina, a lot of them on this, you know, as friends, and they came to the Uptown Lounge as well. The mayor stated that Larry Stanley was an institution in this community. There is no question he would be the last person you would think that something like this would happen to. You know, gosh, you know, he was 73 years old, so I guess that was strange. Larry's son said that he was a great man. He lived his life the way he wanted to, and it was a shame he had to go like that. So let's get into how Larry went. All right. So the murder happened June 19th, 1998. It was a Friday. It was the weekend of Father's Day. Larry had spent Thursday getting ready for his kids. Larry's kids were coming down to Anderson, South Carolina to visit him. He got his hair cut. He got gifts for them, had them wrapped, and he was just getting ready to spend his Father's Day weekend with his kids. Well, on the morning of June 19th, 1998, someone came to Uptown Lounge with more sinister plans. Larry was closing up Uptown Lounge between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m. He would normally call a cab home. He was blind in his right eye, so he didn't drive. So he would call a cab home, and that was like literally down the street. And so once he got ready to go, he would call the cab, and the cab they would, you know, take him home. That particular morning, he did not call the cab to come and pick him up. Unfortunately, Larry was found the next morning right before 9 a.m. by the manager of Uptown Lounge. The manager came in to start her shift like normally, and when she opened up the door, Larry was laying in the doorway of Uptown Lounge. And he was laying in the doorway of Uptown Lounge. There were signs of a tussle. Larry had a revolver laying next to him, which indicated it had been pulled, although never used. Larry had money on him. There was also money inside the bar. He had jewelry on him, so it was possibly a robbery, but no one knew what happened. You know, the cause of death was severe beating and a broken neck. The town was in a frenzy. Investigators and the authorities, they were everywhere trying to figure out what happened to Larry and who could have done this to Larry. Okay, I made this cocktail fast today, y'all. So good. I get to sip on it with y'all and tell the story, child. Let me finish telling the story. I sip. Okay. It's pretty good. I call it a mucho mango. Okay. The investigators worked earnestly to try and find who could have done this to Larry Stanley. They interviewed dozens of potential suspects. I actually spoke with one of the potential suspects, and she said that, you know, she would like to remain anonymous, but she didn't mind me saying what she told me, which was just that they questioned her about it. She was an ex-employee and of Larry, and so they were just trying to be diligent as possible to find out what happened to Larry. So she said she was actually questioned, said she was scared. She said that she was scared for her life, that she had got threatening phone calls. Like, people were trying to figure out what happened to Larry, you know, as they should. Well, This happened the morning of June 19th. So over in the day, leads led to Thunderbird Motel. Thunderbird Motel is literally right behind Uptown Lounge, like literally a hop, skip, and a jump to get to Thunderbird Motor Lodge. So, and the leads led to room 256. And in room 250, and in room 256, they were greeted by an ex-employee of Uptown Lounge. His name was Gavin Jones. Gavin Jones. Okay. And in room 256, they were greeted by a former employee of Uptown Lounge by the name of Gavin Jones. Now, Gavin let the authorities in Friday, and they searched for 3 hours looking for evidence. And I actually went to the scene, guys. Like, the nosy in me just had to go and see for myself, and it was very interesting. I took a little clip, so I will insert that. I started at Uptown Lounge, guys. I just wanted you guys to see the extent of the investigation and how close it was to Uptown Lounge. The tipsters led the authorities to room 256, where Gavin Jones was inside. That is Uptown Lounge. That's Uptown, the building. That's where I was standing at the beginning of the clip. And this is where the leads led. It makes me wonder, was Gavin in there watching and waiting or running and hiding? But he did let the authorities in willingly to go and search the room. It was reported that he was very high off of drugs. And they also checked surrounding trash bins and the surrounding areas. And they arrested Gavin and took him in for questioning. According to reports, they did not find much of any physical evidence, more so circumstantial evidence. Like, Gavin was a black belt. He was trained in martial arts. He was trained in martial arts, and it aligned in which the circumstances Larry was found. So they kind of linked those two. Like, he was found severely beaten with a broken neck. Like, it's very rare that you find someone with a broken neck. Like, and he was a huge guy. Larry was a big man. So, you would really have to use a lot of force. So I guess they put that together. The authorities linked those. Like, okay, so this could be, with the black belt. Also, other reports states that he pawned a very distinctive ring that belonged to Larry and that he was wearing that morning. They said that he got an anonymous tipster to go and pawn the ring, and that's how the tip actually led back to the Motor Lodge. The person that pawned the ring came back and said that, Gavin gave him this ring to go pawn, and this is where you can find him. That man wanted no parts of that. So the informant is allegedly, was the biggest part of evidence that the authorities had. I have Gavin's arrest warrant here. According to Gavin's arrest warrant, the arrest warrant was delivered to Gavin Vashon Jones on 9/24/1998. Gavin Jones was indicted and sentenced to life for the murder of Larry Jones Stanley. He got sentenced to life without parole, and he is now serving his time in SCDC. And guys, that is all I have on the case. It was in 1998. At the time, I was 7 years old. So, I got all the information that I could. And it's such a case that, touched a lot of people. Like I said, a lot of my local cases, I will not be going into a lot of details, but That is definitely the story of Larry M. Stanley. We have always wondered, like, what happened. Like, it was so many different stories of what truly happened. I'm glad I know now. We actually have a little joke at Uptown Lounge where we love to say that Larry haunts Uptown Lounge. And I definitely feel like he has haunted me a couple of times near the beer cooler. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, I used to say, Larry, I do not want any smoke. You know, just give me Yingling, Coors, and whatever, and let's just get out of here. But, you know, Uptown Lounge overall is a great spot. I'm glad I got to cover this story for you guys. It was, like I said, a very well anticipated case. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the cocktail, which was like, you know, the new owners of Uptown Lounge is an Irish guy. So I used Jameson Irish whiskey to make this drink. It's just like a little twist on the green tea. You know, I used a little bit of mango. I muddled down a little bit of mango and sour and a little bit of mango puree. Shake it up a little bit, and it's got me a nice, refreshing cocktail, and it's very delicious. But please don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Drop comments below and drop any cases you guys would like to see me cover. Thank you.